I started 6 different businesses over the last 7 years, and only one of them had the power to actually help me quit my job here in Silicon Valley. If you're multi-passionate like me, successful on paper, but secretly unfulfilled in your corporate job, this video could be your turning point. Hi, I'm Shule. I'm former engineer and business strategist turned into full-time business owner. And in this video, I'm breaking down that one business model that finally gave me income, freedom, purpose that I was searching for after years of burnout and trial and error. I will also share why other 5 failed for me and how you can avoid wasting months and even years chasing the wrong thing. Whether you're feeling stuck or thinking if you're doing your own thing is the right thing for you, or craving more meaning, more freedom, or just want to escape the golden handcuffs, you're in the right place. Stick around till the end because I will also be talking about my biggest mistakes in all these businesses that I started so you can avoid them. So before we get into all the businesses and projects I started and tested over the last 7 years, when I was still at my Silicon Valley job, we have 5 business evaluation criteria that we're going to look into. So these 5 business idea evaluation criteria are 1, purpose and personal alignment. So it's important to ask, does this idea align with my values, interests, and the kind of impact I want to make? And 2, time investment and lifestyle fit. How much time, energy, and effort will this require, especially in the early stages? 3, scalability and long-term potential. Can this idea grow beyond trading time for money? 4, market demand and monetization. Is there a real need for this? Will people pay for it? And how easily I can reach them? And 5, skill alignment and growth opportunity. Does this use my current strengths and will it stretch me in a way that feels exciting and not draining? Let's dive in. Okay, before I talk about my first business project, you're gonna promise that you're not gonna laugh at me because these businesses I started over the last 7 years are so all over the place. And I don't have an access to a video similar to this. So promise me you're not gonna make fun of me. And honestly, I kind of still feel bad sometimes, thinking that maybe I lost a lot of time and effort and money. But I also know that that trial and error is the crucial part of really finding that purpose and turn it into a career. So I know I shouldn't feel bad. So we're going to use this scoring system to look at all the businesses I started over the last few years, and we're going to score them. Here are my evaluation criteria. I talked about the purpose, the time, scalability, demand, and skills. I will go one by one and talk about all the businesses I started and list them here. And we're going to score each of them and we're going to look at the totals. Let's get into it. Okay, the first business I started, and this was before COVID, was a freaking tableware brand. I will summarize this as an e-commerce. Now I go back and reflect on it and I realize, why on earth would I start something like this? But honestly, back then I was so passionate and excited about it and worked on it for a couple of months actually. I even had a supplier from Turkey. And the reason that this one specifically didn't work out for me back then, first of all, in terms of purpose and alignment, I knew that it wasn't fully aligned to my purpose and it wasn't the right thing to do for me back then. I knew that it wasn't enough for me and I don't think I was really passionate about it. Although I was still passionate about it, but it was probably like 6 out of 10. And let me tell you, that is not enough if you want to be successful in any business. You have to really go all in and you really have to believe in it. So purpose and alignment is just 2. Honestly, for this one, I'm gonna give 4 because I'm okay into investing and building something and really spending time and enjoying the process because that's kind of how every business works. And I can say that this is one of those fun businesses that you spend a lot of time finding supplier, creating the brand and designs. I was okay with that time investment and lifestyle fit. In terms of scalability and long-term potential, I am giving this 2 out of 5 because I think it's extremely hard to be competitive in this industry, in tableware industry, or honestly in any e-commerce business. In addition to that, this type of business is very seasonal. When I looked at the data and did the market research, I realized This is a very seasonal business. Most of the time, the sales is gonna really happen before the holiday season, especially in US. So it wasn't the best business revenue model for me. Market demand and monetization part, I'm gonna give 2 out of 5 because of the similar reasons to this one. Again, it's a very competitive industry to succeed. And honestly, I wasn't that passionate to succeed in a very competitive industry. It's a type of industry that it's very difficult to differentiate yourself as a brand. In terms of skills alignment and growth opportunity, I'm actually going to give 3 out of 5 because since my childhood, I was someone who was very interested in trade and e-commerce. This was definitely not my first idea that I came up with, that I researched. This one was actually the one that I took real action, like build a project and spend months on building it and even had a supplier because I love creating brands. I love creativity. I love marketing. I love designing a product. So anything that involves that creativity and branding and messaging, I love creating something like that. I think with this business, it was just the wrong industry for me at the wrong time. Of course, we don't know what the future holds. I can definitely try something similar to this in future. I don't know yet. So the total score is 13 out of 25. The second business I started, or I should say project, but it could definitely turn into a full-blown business, was Turkish podcast and YouTube channel. I will also add my English creator account because I made some money doing that and it grew into 27K followers. So think of this as a creator business. All right, so I have a lot of things to talk about here because I initially didn't start these businesses to make money or even thought that these are businesses. But as I said, I made some money just by coincidence, and I will explain how that happened. First of all, I started podcast and YouTube channel in Turkish without knowing what I'm actually doing. And this happened a couple years ago around COVID times. I was going through a huge spiritual awakening process back then. I went through really, really tough times in my personal life, in my career, in my relationships. In fact, if I could summarize it in one sentence, my life turned upside down back then. Anyways, this was like 5 years ago. I started these right after I experienced those times. And obviously I learned a lot during my awakening journey because I'm passionate about learning and sharing it with others. I was just excited to share what I've learned during this process. But I didn't have a niche. I didn't have a business plan. I didn't even have a core message that I want to share with others. So I pretty much talked about everything, which is the worst thing that you can do if you're starting a creator business. Also didn't know that you have to spend 15 to 20 hours a week just to put some decent content out there. And also do this every week for a year without seeing any results. And I learned this the hard way. I have a habit that I'm not a big fan of. I start things very excited and I don't finish them. This happens partially because I don't truly evaluate what I'm starting and just jump into things that I'm initially excited. When that novelty wears off, poof, it is impossible for me to keep going, especially if I'm not seeing any results. Guess what? You won't see results in the beginning for some time when you're starting a new business. And this is true for every business. I don't care what others are saying. This is just a fact. And about the English Instagram page, which is here, you can say hi and check it out. I started creating content here a couple years ago because basically I was just feeling inspired to do. I just love the process of learning new things and inspiring others and creating content that inspired me that could like potentially inspire others too. So I started randomly creating content and I went viral a couple of times. I gained 27,000 followers. I got monetized. I did some brand collaborations. All of these happened back in 2022. And since then, the social media algorithms and industry changed a lot. I haven't been creating content since then because even back then, I didn't have a niche. I didn't have a business model. I didn't have anything. This is my real thoughts about creator or influencer businesses. I think creator business is great when it's not your main business. It's great to support your main business, which you still can't rely on it 100% because it's not in your control. Algorithms can change or platforms go away, but I believe it's not great as a main business. And let me explain you why. Since 2024, social media has changed a lot, and I've experienced this. Today, it takes a lot of time to grow audience. People just don't follow accounts blindly. So it's not going to be like what I did a couple years ago in my social media account. Also, because of all these crazy algorithm changes, even people with a decent following says they cannot reach their followers with their content. Instagram and TikTok is not great in terms of how much time you have to put into them and how much you get out in terms of business profits. And that's another reason I started this YouTube channel. Because YouTube is very different than Instagram and TikTok. It's great to create deeper connection and really talk about your core message, communicate your ideas truly, and build a genuine, real community. I don't think that exists anymore in short form platforms. Also, the short form content is like unhealthy snacks, but high quality long form content is like a filet mignon. This analogy is from amazing Brenda Turner. I love her content, and if you don't know her, you should check her YouTube channel out here. Anyways, let's rate this creator business. In terms of purpose and alignment, I'm gonna give 4 out of 5 because this is something truly that I was passionate about. I love learning new stuff and teaching it and talking about it and sharing my opinions and just in general talk about my ideas. And I still do this. Like, I'm still a creator. I have this YouTube channel, right? So it's definitely aligned to my purpose, and I gave it to 4. In terms of time investment and lifestyle, I'm gonna give it 2 because if this is your main business and only business, then it requires a lot of time investment upfront without seeing any, like close to zero results, especially in the first year. And this is mostly true in any creator business, but especially in Instagram and TikTok, you are at risk of putting a lot of effort out there, even if you're an established business or even if you have an established following, and still not see any business results because of all these algorithm changes. And of course, this is a bit different for YouTube and podcasts, which is more long-form content where you can build genuine connections and build trust with your audience. In terms of scalability and long-term potential, I'm gonna give 3 points. There's for sure some compounding effect in terms of starting to create content and seeing results and growing an audience, but sustaining the momentum and again continuing to reach your followers with your content is not in your control, and the algorithm changes in the last 2 years is just honestly ruined this. Market demand and monetization, I'm gonna give 2 points simply because of the same reasons, right? It's not easy to get to that point. Even if you can get to the point and put a lot of effort in this, honestly, you can put that time and effort into something else and get much better ROI compared to social media business. So skills alignment and growth opportunity, I'm gonna give 4 out of 5. So the total score is 15. The third business I started was digital product business. Now, my friend, I'm gonna say that I was a victim of get rich quick schemes here. You know, all those Instagram gurus talking about passive income and creating digital products, and with only one post, you can sell them passively. You can build an Etsy shop in an hour and make 10K. I tried all of them by creating very simple digital products like journals, templates, ebooks, mainly in the areas that I'm really passionate about, like self-improvement or discovering your purpose or self-discovery. And guess what happened? No one cared about it, and not many people bought them. Let me tell you what those Instagram gurus are not teaching. It is too easy to create a digital product. Even a ChatGPT can do this in 5 minutes. So guess what? That makes it extremely competitive worldwide. And more importantly, I will give you one business secret that I wish someone told me back then. People won't buy your stuff if they don't know you. Think about it. Why they would care? They don't know your story. They don't know who you are. They don't know if they can trust you. They also don't know if you really have what they want and what you are teaching about. The only way to build that trust and eventually sell your digital product is, 1, you have to show up as you are online because people can feel it. And number 2, focus on giving real value for free. And this way you can build the greatest genuine community. 3, build genuine heart-centered connections and really focus on serving people first. That's it. Sales or selling your digital product is just a result of building that. It's not the goal, it's just a result. So let's rate digital product business now. Purpose and alignment, again, I'm gonna give 4 because I love the idea of helping others in a way that's not directly tied to your time. You can create once and you can change people's lives without putting into extra time and effort into this. But I also know that it's not the same thing as working one-on-one, but it's also a cheaper product. So it's a different type of a service. In terms of time investment and lifestyle fit, I'm going to give 3 out of 5 because, again, I don't agree with those Instagram gurus out there that you can spend a couple of minutes and create and sell. It doesn't work that way. People are not going to buy your thing if they don't know you, if they don't trust you. So in terms of time investment, there is a lot of time you have to spend building those genuine connections and personal brand and that trust. Here, the hardest part is really the distributing the product and not creating it, I think. In terms of scalability and long-term potential, I'm going to give 5 out of 5 because once you're able to do the things I just mentioned, you can just scale it to infinity. Market demand and monetization, I'm going to give 3 out of 5 because it's highly competitive industry, but it's also a growing market. The thing is, unless you build a genuine community and build trust, which takes time, it is very hard to differentiate yourself. Skills alignment and growth opportunity, I'm going to give 4 points because, again, I love teaching. I love helping others about the things that I'm passionate about and believe in. So this is 4 out of 5. And overall, the digital product business, I'm giving 19 points. So the total score is 19 out of 25. Okay, next one. And this might surprise you. It is dog sitting business. What might even surprise you more is I still have this business. Now, you may say, why you need that little money from the dog sitting business? It's crazy that you're doing dog sitting after quitting your 6-figure Silicon Valley job. But listen, I started this business more than a year ago now, just to cope with stress. Back then, I was in the process of quitting my corporate job, and I love dogs. I've been living with dogs my entire life, especially back in Turkey with my family. We have a golden retriever, and she lived with us for 14 years. I've been missing dogs since then, and the reason is I don't feel like I can adopt dog at this point because I travel a lot. I go back to Turkey during summer months. So adopting a dog is still a question mark for me. And the best way to have a dog is sitting one. When I was the lowest point of my corporate career psychologically, I asked myself, why not start a dog sitting business, make some money doing something I actually love. And of course, in the meantime, I already had my coaching business and a few clients, but I still wanted to do this simply because I love it and it's not going to consume a lot of time. And my friends, it turned into one of the best freelance businesses that you can start while you're still employed or in addition to your main business, simply because it doesn't require much of your time. You can spend 15 minutes a day and do this. Plus, if you love dogs, the dogs will feel like a family member. You're going to have the fun and love of taking care of a dog. Especially with repeating clients and with their dogs, you will have an emotional relationship with them and you will love them. So it's just going to turn into fun. Right now, I only have 3 to 4 repeating clients and I don't accept anxious or aggressive dogs. But honestly, it also makes some good money. It can actually cover my travel expenses with the money that I'm making from here. So it's a perfect side business for me right now still, and even maybe in future. It's an amazing side business for someone who's already working a full-time job or running a full-time business, simply because you have the full flexibility and you don't spend much time doing this. Plus, I would literally do this for free because I cannot adopt dog right now because I travel a lot and I love dogs. So let's rate the dog sitting business. In terms of purpose and alignment, I'm going to give 2 points because obviously this is not my purpose or main business. I'm just doing this simply for fun and love. In terms of time investment and lifestyle fit, I'm going to give 5 out of 5 because you simply don't invest much time. Even if I'm taking dogs out for a walk, I already have to walk during the day because I work from home all the time. And it doesn't matter for me if I'm taking a dog outside or I'm walking on my own. In fact, I love walking with dogs. I would do this for free. Scalability and long-term potential, it's 4 out of 5. Obviously, I could scale this to a very big business if I had a house with backyard, and there's so many people doing this that they have 20 dogs at a time, and they also have pet training and things like that. But because this is not my main business and I am not thinking of making this my main business right now, this isn't that important for me. Market demand and monetization is 5 out of 5 because you can set up your Rover profile, or you can find business, or you can find clients in it, and you can just start making money without spending much time pretty much immediately. And in terms of market demand, there is a lot of demand for this, especially in San Francisco Bay Area, because there's so many people with dogs here and I live nearby the dog park. Guess what? Majority of these people have very busy work schedules, or they don't have the flexibility to take care of their dogs. Skills alignment and growth opportunity, I'm gonna give 3 out of 5 because obviously I'm not using most of my skills in this business. This is more like a fun and love business for me, so it's 3 out of 5. And the total score is 19 out of 25. Same as the digital product business, actually. The 5th business I started was the social media agency business for small brick and mortar businesses. My friends, that was a huge failure. Similar to the dog sitting business, I started this when I already had my coaching business and when I was still employed, because I thought in my mind, I've been successful in social media. And plus, I really enjoy it. So what I can do is I can help these small businesses who are not great at social media to build online presence and reach more people around and attract more clients. Honestly, it seemed like an amazing idea. So I started working on building my agency, building my personal brand around this, building network. I also built pitch decks and business cards. And I spent so much time for 2 months talking to every single small business with a physical location, physical shop in Bay Area, mostly in Peninsula area and South Bay Area. So if you're a small business owner here and watching this, we probably talked. And do you know what happened, my friends? I didn't close a single sale. I didn't have a single client. No small business owner here wanted to invest in building an online presence or growing their Instagram accounts. And you know why? Because they didn't need to. Majority of them had already established customer base in person. So what I understood that this was the wrong business for me. Also, the main reason that I quit pursuing this is because I wasn't really excited for this. I thought there was a need and I had the skill set. I wasn't that passionate to keep going. So I decided to fully focus on my main business instead, which was the coaching business. Okay, so let's rate the social media agency business for small brick and mortar businesses. Obviously, in terms of purpose and alignment, I'm gonna give 1 out of 5 because this didn't align at all in terms of my purpose. Time investment and lifestyle fit, I'm gonna give 3 out of 5. Technically, it didn't take much time to get ready to talk with clients and close a sale, but because the business was wrong, it didn't happen. But the time required to do that wasn't that bad, so I'm giving 3 out of 5. Scalability and long-term potential, I'm gonna give 2 out of 5 because you can only work with very few clients here and you're gonna be busy with managing their accounts a lot. So I don't know if this is very scalable unless you have a product that you can sell them instead of your service and time. Market demand and monetization, I'm gonna give 2 out of 5 because obviously what I realized after talking with like 100 small business owners, they don't really need this. They don't really wanted this service. In terms of skills alignment and growth opportunity, I'm gonna give 4 out of 5 because I had the skills to be really successful in this business, but it was just not the right business for me. So the total point is 12 out of 25. It's actually the lowest one. I want to talk about the last one and my main business that finally allowed me to quit my 6-figure Silicon Valley job and go full-time a year ago. If you watch my other videos, I talk about my background and I started my coaching business a couple years ago. But just to give you a quick summary, I studied master's in psychology in Harvard Extension School when I was still employed in my Silicon Valley job. I did that for 1.5 years, and then I left that and studied coaching and finished a coaching certification program for 6 months. And all this happened a couple years ago in 2021. And I have been coaching as a certified coach over the last 3 to 4 years. And of course, I started this as a side hustle and went full-time a year ago. Right now, I'm focusing on building a real and scalable business out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and rate the coaching business, but you can also think of this as any service-based business: consulting, coaching, freelancing, or working fractional. So obviously, in terms of purpose and alignment, it's 5 out of 5. I think it explains itself. I feel fully aligned with this path. It's my passion. It's something that I'm good at. It's also something that I have credentials. And the business itself is something about I have already done and can help others. So it's perfectly aligned business for me. Time investment and lifestyle fit, I am giving this 4 out of 5. When you think of finding your first clients, you don't have to spend months' time. You can just start very small with your network or with the people you already know. But scaling it and building systems take a lot of time. So that's a different topic. But in terms of just starting that, and the time investment is not that crazy. So I'm giving 4 out of 5. Scalability and long-term potential, I am also giving 4 out of 5. And again, if you have just very few clients, or if you just do this with your network, if everything is tied to your own time, then it is not very scalable. But since you're building a service-based business and also building a personal brand, you can definitely build other businesses around it and make it more scalable, like digital product business or creator business. It can definitely be a long-term thing because it definitely is a long-term game you should play. In terms of market demand and monetization, I am giving 4 out of 5 because as a service-based business, as a coach, consulting, fractional, or freelancer, you're solving problems that people have. So depending on which industry you're in, there's always going to be people with problems and they will always want solutions for it. So the key thing here is really identify the right problem and have the good solution, your unique solution for it. That's why it's 4 out of 5. Skills alignment and growth opportunity, I'm going to give 5 out of 5 because again, I have the credentials to do this. I educated myself for years. I also have experience for years about the things that I'm coaching others on. So this is definitely 5 out of 5. And the total score is 22. Obviously, this is a winner for me. After starting and trying so many different businesses, I finally found the one that gave me freedom, income, fulfillment, and aligned with who I truly am. Now I coach high-achieving professionals to uncover their true purpose with self-discovery, strategize their 9-to-5 exit plan, and build a profitable business they love. And here's what I've learned. Employee to entrepreneur journey is not only about doing side hustles and making some quick money and quitting your job. It's about having the right mindset, finding out your unique genius, what you're really good at, finding out what lights you up, and most importantly, focusing on designing a life and business that truly fits you. So if you're thinking, I've tried everything and nothing has worked so far, or if you're thinking, I know I am meant for more, you're not alone and it is not too late. If you're ready to find your most aligned life and career path and finally start building that life feels like you, comment below or say hi on my Instagram. With love.